They have the best of the best talents looking for
Scientists. Yeah.
sustainable alternatives. It is more expensive, which means it's less profitable.
Profit.
That's why they're not changing it. Period. That's the bottom line.
Welcome to the Sustainability Nugget podcast. I am Rarasu Maraibi.
And I'm Tosin Folorunsho.
On this podcast, we learn about sustainability by discussing various related topics while focusing on three pillars: the economy, the society, and the environment. Hello guys, welcome back to the pod. Today we have a full house. We have Tosin here and we have a guest, Mira. She cannot be on camera, but yeah, she's here with us, and this is going to be like a sausages episode where we're going to be talking about toxic beauty. But before we dive into the episode, we want the guest, Mira, to please introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and thank you so much, Tosin, for your flexibility and for all you do. Pretty much, this has been an amazing journey, and I appreciate all you do in contributing to people's resources and learning about different sustainability nuggets, right? So my name is Samira Munkaila. I go by Mira Moves on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel just like you. And I am very passionate about providing info for international students worldwide about scholarship opportunities and about different resources essentially that they can use in making their academic journey and inevitably their professional journey as well much better than how we know it to be. So yeah, that's what I do. Professionally, I'm a chemist. I'm a PhD candidate at New York University here in the USA. I have a master's in chemistry and material science from North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro. And I have a BSc in chemistry as well from University of Cape Coast in Ghana, UCC. So yeah, that's me, Mira.
Awesome. Because this is like sausages of your week and any major updates in your life.
Girl,
Yeah.
you already know. We went to Novoche, which was a week long. And it was an amazing experience. My voice is a little bit husky because I left the lab really, really late last night and I had to catch up on sleep. But yeah, we are alive and kicking. That's what matters, right? So yeah.
So how was your week?
My week was busy, and like most other weeks, it's sort of been like that. So, major update first, so people can understand where I'm coming from. I just resumed my PhD this August. So
Congratulations.
I transitioned. Thank you. Thanks, Mira. So I just transitioned from working full time to graduate student. So that's been interesting, just trying to adjust to that life first of all, and doing so many readings of academic material. So yeah, my week has been classes plus a lot of readings. But yesterday I actually got to attend a very cool event hosted by a non-profit organization called Five Gyres. They do scientific research on plastic pollution in the ocean, and they were doing a launch for a new seal to track the sources of microfiber in our waters, which microfiber is from textiles, clothing, and carpets as well. Many other things, but yeah, textiles. So I think for me it was nice to wrap up that week with a nice event that wasn't, all school based, but still focusing on saving the environment and creating awareness about some of the issues that we discuss often.
Yeah, please can you tell them what school and what PhD program? I'm proud of Tosin. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm going to UC Berkeley, that's University of California, Berkeley, and the program is Environmental Science, Policy and Management. My research interests are in textile waste and circular economic transitions in the fashion industry.
So for me, my week, Mira, like Novuche, after like I came back from New Orleans, like I fell sick actually.
Oh no.
Oh
So,
no.
I've been sick, but I'm good now. Like I don't know, I think I got something like COVID from New Orleans. I'm
Did
Are
you
fragile.
you
test
kidding me?
yourself?
Wow.
I didn't test, but like all the symptoms were there, so I just like stayed at home and like was
Mm.
just taking medications. But now like I'm clear and also, but it was all of the COVID, all of it, like loss of taste, like fever,
Oh wow.
my throat, like everything. It was bad. So, but yeah, so like I spent from Monday to Thursday trying to recover, but Saturday today I'm good. So, yeah,
That's good to know.
yeah.
You should still do a test,
Well
I
done.
think.
You think I should still do the test?
Yeah,
Okay, maybe I'll try to get
just check.
like a... So yeah, let's dive into our topic for today. What does toxic beauty mean to you?
First of all, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, right? In the cosmetic industry, which I believe is what we are focusing on, because toxic has to do with chemicals, right? Because literally everything around us is chemicals, both synthetic and organic, right? Cosmetics over the years has been like an integral part of our lives, from pre-colonial to like the old days, back back in the day till now. It's either people are using charcoal to clean their teeth, or like use I don't know if you know this, in Ghana they call it koli, which is like a black activator coal thing where you put in your eyes for beauty purposes, and
We
it
call
still
it zero.
serves. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, zero.
Yeah, so that's like activated coal where you put in your eyes for beautification,
Mm.
but eventually it cleanses the eyes. Like, so I feel like cosmetics has become like an integral part of our lives, to enhance appearance, boost confidence, whatever, right? But like some of these products, as time goes on, these companies that create these products have one goal in mind, which is profitability, right? So it's like whatever they need to do to make the products last longer on the shelves, be sustainable on the shelves, and like still deliver is what they'll do, and still cut costs and make profits, right? So there are different things that constitute toxicity in the beauty industry or like cosmetic industry. And I guess as we delve into it, we would like start to like talk about like the different chemicals we should watch out for and stuff like that. But just so you know, like beauty is in the hands of the beholder. I don't think like some people who bleach their skins and make themselves prone to cancer think it's toxic, right? So it's in the hands of the beholder, in
Yeah.
other words. Yeah. Yeah.
What I'll add to that is that we can consider toxic beauty as anything that I like the context that Mira just shared. Like it truly is what's toxic for me might not be toxic for other people. The level of tolerance of other people to certain toxins might not be what I take. But still it's important to note that anything most of the cosmetic products that we use are potentially toxic. They potentially have some or many toxic materials in them, and some have short-term effects, like they have immediate effects on your body. Some of them, they are long-term effects. They might not happen until later in life, and so but it's important to know that these things exist, and that's why we're talking about this today.
Yeah, definitely. Toxic beauty to me is like using products that are meant to beautify us, but also like this same product cause damage to our health and well-being, health of ourselves, but also of others, and even the environment. Also, like if things that you're using for yourself actually then makes you end in the hospital and all, is it really worth it? Mira, like I saw that you attended an event, I think it was earlier this year or last year, organized by, I don't know how to pronounce it, please can you correct me, Societe de Cham Industrial.
Mm-hmm.
Did I pronounce it correctly?
Well, it's a French word, and I think any pronunciation is fine. So probably not French, but we're gonna be pardoned, right?
Yeah. So I know, like, I saw like you were writing about like that you guys talked about ingredients and sunscreen, and like that's something like we would like to learn about on this episode. But like when we talk about ingredients, I would like you to just tell us anything you know about that. But before we go into ingredients, I want to talk about personal encounters. Like, have you had a personal encounter with like having adverse effects from a beauty product, or do you know anyone that has had such? So if you can just say a short story about yourself or someone else you know.
Back when I was in high school in Ghana, I have a very sensitive skin. I kind of like had boxes on my body on the last day of WASI exams, because I had to do, like in Ghana we call it all night, where you stay up all night, and I ended up lying down with my classmate, whatever, and then because we needed to like go bounce back to the like write the exam early the next morning. So I came back home from the exams and I had rashes all over my body, and it developed into like boxes. It was just insane. And there I was forming like fine girl, no pimples, and what the hell is going on my skin? So my face became like, messed up. That time, skincare, I'm not that old, but it's like skincare isn't what it is right now for us in Ghana, right?
Yeah.
I got this brand. I don't want to mention their name. I don't even want to say the initials because they are very popular. Sister, literally. As soon as I used this mild cleanser, oh my God, the burns I faced on my skin was insane. Granted, I already had an irritated skin, but I went, you know how you have like super mild, gentle on the skin, like, and I ended up with permanent sunburns on my two cheeks, right? I still see the products in the market. Surprisingly, they've now like they have different like colors
Branding.
and like flavors, and I don't know, it's really big. They have a cleanser, like I got the whole thing, like the cleanser, the toner, whatever. So I feel like that's my personal experience from using these things. And so it's like Tosin, right? Like Tosin correctly said, these things say, oh, no toxic, no toxic, but the level of toxicity might not be what you are like privy to know, right? So it might be toxic, but the level, so it's all about the level of toxicity at the end of the day. Because if we are working with chemicals, some of them are still like toxic, but it's like now boiling down to the level of toxicity.
Mira talked about her personal experience
Personal story.
with someone, which is devastating. Do you have any?
The one I'll share was also from my childhood. I remember that my mom changed my lotion. So I applied this particular lotion on I used to apply it on my whole body, but I used to rub a lot of lotion on my palm, on my hands, because they used to get dry easily. And then I started noticing I had rashes on my palm. And I was wondering what happened. Where did this come from? I thought I was reacting to something. And my dad was just like, okay, let's wait. Maybe it's the cream. You just change your cream, right? I was like, let's try not using your cream today and then use it again tomorrow. And let's see what will happen. And truly, I did that. And I found out, immediately I rubbed, like a few hours after I rubbed the lotion on my hands again. And then I also rubbed it on my forearm as well. My skin broke out, and that was my first experience with being exposed to something that's toxic. It's not that the other materials I'd used were toxic. I think it's just the level or the concentration of whatever. I think it was the concentration of whatever it was that was in that cream that's brought the immediate effect.
For me, I would say mine was very recent. It was not like a body product, but hair product. Person knows about this. Like we tried coily perm, me and her. Like in the
that's another more recent experience too.
Yeah, and like we've stopped using it because of I was breaking our hair. But after I watched a documentary or a film called Not So Pretty, I think, and they were talking about like how they were exposed to like toxins and all, and some of them through coily hair products. They talked about how it affected their skin and someone talked about how it affected their ear, and that's when I was like, what? Like in the past year, 2 years when I was using that coily perm, I've spent over $1,000 in the hospital trying to check my ear, and they're not seeing anything.
Wait, which your hair, like hair
No,
or
my ear for ear.
Oh.
Yes, like I'm telling them, like there's something, I don't know what's up. They've done scan and all, and they didn't see anything. And when I heard that girl say that thing, I'm like, this is the same thing that was wrong with me. I stopped it because it was breaking off, like it was not sustainable anymore.
But it was doing
right?
more damage than just the
Yes,
breakage.
that period I was complaining about ear, and I was also complaining about my skin. That was the first time in my life I was checking chemical peels video. I wanted to peel off my skin because like the way my skin was rough, like I had not seen it like that before, right? But I was not linking it to the air because I had no reason to link it up.
Yeah.
But like I stopped it because it was breaking my hair, right? And like my skin cleared. Like normally I thought like it just, but when I was watching that video, and like they were actually multiple girls linking like their coily hair products to the same thing I was going through, and I'm like, what? It was actually scary because I actually went through it and I didn't know I was going through it because of that.
The one I heard was how actual relaxer actually causes cancer. You guys heard that one too,
Yes,
right?
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So imagine all the years that
We've
you know what, like,
exposed
bruh.
ourselves. So that's
And
what I'm saying.
that's what you were saying, because it's like these chemical companies probably knew the side effects they've
Of
tested. Because
course.
you know how many lab tests they do on rats, how many lab testing they do, and clinical trials they do. And it's like, oh, this one is probably negligible. We would make so much profit before people find out, kind of mentality.
You know, a lot of people are like, well, you people stop wearing makeup. I have no judgments against like people wearing makeup. I don't wear makeup often. I don't wear makeup myself, but like it's not only in makeup, it's in shampoo, it's in conditioner, it's in laundry detergent, like it's in everything. We're constantly exposed to toxins.
Let's talk about like ingredients now. Like what are the ingredients we should look for like in beauty products? So let's limit it to like cosmetics, right?
With ingredients, I guess like there are like super notorious, lists. And then there's the one you should look out for. One of the ones that we want to like delve like deeper and make people understand more is when you see PFAs. These are like perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances. So PFA, fluoroalkyl. And they have like, I think they are called forever chemicals.
Forever,
They
yeah.
don't go away. Now even some cookware, Teflon, people are now saying Teflon has some PFA in it. I'm like, hey, my God. There was this time where they said we shouldn't use aluminum pots. Now we move to Teflon non-stick. Now we go to non-stick too. Oh my God. When we look back at this whole thing, I guess our antique pre-medieval ways of cooking with your whatever is the best, because at this
Clay
point,
pots.
oh my goodness. So yeah, so PFA, like some of the risks that have been linked with PFA is like liver damage, immune system disruption, cancers, and for the environment, like it literally still lingers,
Mm-hmm.
And then there's benzophenone, and that benzophenone is like, because we were talking about sunscreens, like a lot of the sunscreens have benzophenone. They have potential to disrupt your endocrine like activities, like hormone function and like reproductive health.
They tell us we must
yeah.
put on sunscreen now, like
to protect from ultraviolet rays. Yeah.
And then I guess parabens as well. You see a lot of shampoos now say no paraben. Hand washes that say no paraben, right? So paraben is usually a preservative. So remember how like when we started, like these companies look out for profitability and what can last longer in the shelf, right? Mm-hmm. These parabens have been used as preservatives in pharmaceuticals, and not even only cosmetics, even pharmaceuticals sometimes. The main issue with them is like they have the ability to like mimic estrogen in the body, which kind of also disrupts like your hormones, and like it could be linked to like breast cancer, reproductive disorders, and like skin irritation, what, right?
Yeah.
So I think the last one that is like no, like absolute red flag is phthalates. So phthalates are like a class of chemicals that are found in plastics, right? So it's like toys, flooring, and sometimes it's being used in cosmetics as well. And this one is for the males. So the adverse effects, we've been seeing like cancer in females and estrogen. This one is like for the male reproductive health. So it affects their hormones a lot for the males. And kind of like, because you can see them in toys, and these toys kids put in their mouths and everything. So it's like affect their developmental issues as well. So it's like you see, it's now I'm hearing speech delay, and I'm like, Jesus, what is going on? Like, so you see like speech delay, like, all this, I'm so sorry, but it is what it is at this point. So it's like so many adverse effects of these things are affecting our children, and developmental issues, and respiratory problems. Kids are allergic to literally everything right now. They don't even want to go out and play like what they used to do. So I feel like these have been like standardized and known
Have
as
they
like
been
red
also
flag.
linked to like autisms, like in children?
I cannot specifically say. That's why I'm kind of like broadening it up, to like these developmental issues. And I believe autism is a developmental, it's because they have a spectrum for autism. Like it ranges from like, like a range. So all these things have, and we should actually pay attention to the level and increase in these developmental issues in our kids, right? It's not just by chance that we have all these things emerging now. We should really open our eyes and pay attention to why now. So yeah. So in terms of like the no red flag, those are the ones. We have other ones as well, like lead, formaldehyde, so SLS, like sodium, like maybe lauryl sulfate, toluene, and other ones that are like, people are trying to like fight for them to be terminated from this chemical industry. So yeah.
I love how you mentioned formaldehyde. I was waiting for you to mention it because when we're talking about preservatives, like I heard that some brands have shifted from using like parabens or other kind of preservatives to using formaldehyde. And for a more simpler explanation, I love bringing people to making sure people understand. Formaldehyde is like most common, like I guess the simplest way to explain is used to embalm bodies. It's used in other products as well. Like it's used in the automotive industry, it's used in the textile industry. But I've heard that some people when now use it in so-called clean products, like clean cosmetic products, as a replacement for the other toxic chemicals, and then they've renamed it. It's also referred to as methylaldehyde, methylene oxide, or methanol. So
that's one sad thing with chemicals. Or when they go with the regular name, then they switch it to the IUPAC name. When they say IUPAC name is causing problems, then they switch it to the regular manufacturing name. One chemical can have like 10 different names based off of where you're looking at it from, which is sad.
Okay, so like what you were saying, like that they switched it. That was something I was going to ask, like because this ingredient that we called out as like the major red flags, they were there for a reason, right? Like for example, the parabens were there for preservation, right? I don't know what the other ones were there for, like benzophenone or whatever. But like they cannot just remove it from the process or from the formulation. It has to be replaced, right? So like how do we ensure that like if we see paraben free, it's not like they've just put on another bad, like you're saying, like the formaldehyde and all?
Well, for me, I feel like understanding these disparities is very, very important, because I'm sure you picked up like a product in, for instance, UK, and you pick up the same product in the US, literally the same, and then you are saying aqua, and then you are saying water, and some you see H2O, and some you see literally it's the same thing, right? So I feel like that understanding is really, really important, because like we were trying to establish, like one chemical, pretty much is a chemical issue, right? And it's like it could have different names, right? So it's like if someone has been like desensitized, like, oh, when you see aqua, you have to run away. Okay, we'll rebrand the label and put water. You know?
Yeah.
So you just need to like be very, very, and it's a lot, given the fact that this is not my field.
Yeah.
I'm a regular person. I just want to smell good. I just want to look good. Is it too much to ask? Do I now start getting a degree in chemistry simply because I want to, understand what I'm putting in my body or on my
Right.
body, or, I
Yeah.
feel like us doing it might be as little as listening to this podcast to just learn, or it might be as little as reading one article, or it might be as little as just watching a documentary, actually.
Right.
And I like the fact that a lot of people are coming out talk about these things, because if the noise wasn't made about forever chemicals, trust me, these companies will continue. And like Tosi was saying, like, they know, but they're gonna keep short, because why? They are still making profit. And they forget that it will come back and bite them, because their families are also using these products one way or the other.
True.
So I feel like that's information and understanding these disparities is very, very key, very important, because we need to know. Like, again, like I just wanted to like you pointed out, put out that post, because it's like, do you know that sunscreen is considered a cosmetic, a pharmaceutical here, and it's considered cosmetic outside, and it's like the way they are treated is completely different, you know. And it's like all of these things, the agenda is sometimes agending. So it's like we cannot place like correct. It's just a lot. It's
It's
a
a
lot.
lot.
Trust me, it's
Mm.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. It can be overwhelming to deal with, and yeah, I don't know if I know if I can answer your question to how to like what to watch out for, because even when you read, I got to a point from personal experience, like if sharing my own personal experience, I got to a point where I wanted to buy sunscreen, and I had this, and Jennifer, I might come up to it later on. I installed this Clearya app because I wanted to at least be able to tell. So I did the scan. I scanned the product. It was a Neutrogena product, I think. Because I use Neutrogena products currently for my face. I'll be open about that, because that's what so far I've seen that worked for me, that I wasn't reacting to. Um, and I only use serum. I don't use face wash or anything. I wash using water. Um, but yeah, I only use serum, the what's it called? Moisturizer, and then sunscreen. And it's all Neutrogena. Because I'm like, let me keep this one product. If I'm changing products and I don't know what I'm reacting to. But I couldn't find the particular sunscreen that I'm using, that particular one. And so I found other Neutrogena sunscreens, and I just used this app to scan. But it showed it was I don't know, the result wasn't clear, because it was like, oh, you are exposed to potential risk. I'm like, so what am I supposed to do with the information? How does this help me? I got frustrated, and so I just dropped the stuff. I didn't buy it. But for most people, it's like, well, exposed to this potential risk. Most people would still pick it up. Well, I need sunscreen anyway. They say if you don't wear sunscreen, you could get darker. And it's also in the way,
Media.
the way society or media, whatever, has placed on us to, pay attention to your skin, and like use a product to, you have to be using a product to look
You
good.
have to have
Like you have to
20
be using
steps.
a product. Yes, you have to have all of these steps to look good. I'm like, maybe just maybe, instead of following that pattern, try to cut on all these steps, or see which step may be affecting your skin. I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah, I know. Tosin, I was discussing with you before the podcast started. Like when I was asking about that parabens, like
Yeah.
parabens is removed and it's meant for preservation. And let's say they don't replace it. Wouldn't it cause more harm than good,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
it was preserving it was preventing bacterial growth and all. And now if you now
Yeah.
have something that doesn't have preservative and you now put bacteria on your face, wouldn't it like
Yeah. Yeah.
Jennifer, the key thing is these guys in R&D are having the best of the best. I mean, you saw this. They have the best of the best talents looking for
Scientists. Yeah.
sustainable alternatives. It is more expensive, which means it's less profitable.
Profit.
That's why they're not changing it. Period. That's the bottom line. There are so many
Full stop.
alternatives. Full stop. There are so many, so many alternatives. When we are doing our research, the key thing we look out for is, okay, this is the trend, right? We find something that works,
Cost
find something that
effectiveness.
is, now it works, right? Okay, what can we change in that thing that worked to be more sustainable?
And
Can
note,
you use water?
sustainable in this term is not like sustainable as in good
Right,
for people,
right,
good for
right,
environment. It
right.
is
Profit.
sustainable as in, yeah.
Right. So if your starting material in the lab costs like maybe $1,000 per maybe 2 gram. Okay, fine, it works. Now your next task as a researcher and R&D is to look for an equivalent that's probably going to cost $2.
Yeah.
And do the exact same thing. And now it costs $2, does the exact same thing. Okay, cool. Now let's test. Is the harm not so much that we can pass by? So it's like there are alternatives. Don't get it twisted. There are, but is it profitable for this company? That's the real question.
Yeah.
That's the real question.
What tools or resources as consumers do you think we can start using, navigating to help us, at least help us make better choices?
I want to start with that tool Tosi mentioned. Please share the link so we can actually download that app.
So the
Awesome.
next Clearya app, you say you just scan it and it tells you.
So it's like so when you scan the ingredients section of your product.
Oh, okay.
So you put your camera on that and scan that and on the app, and then it would highlight the potential ingredients that are harmful.
Okay.
But that's also, so it's really cool. I mean, it's cool. But for me, I'm like, okay, so potential risk of exposure or this, except I see this is safe to use. Like, what should I do with your potential?
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah, but at least it's telling you. But
but at least it's telling you that you can also. I think it just helps to screen out all the, instead of you trying to read through the ingredient list yourself. It just helps you point out, okay, this is the one. These are the ones that this is there. This is what makes this product potentially harmful.
There's also the safecosmetics.org. I've actually not used it, so but that's something to check out. Do you know that all these companies, not all of them list all their
exactly
ingredients?
Yeah.
So that's another major challenge, right?
Yeah. And I think that's where policy comes in. There are bills in California that mandates companies manufacturers of chemical products or even certain products to state if there's a risk of exposure based on the components. So it doesn't exactly tell you what these products. It just says there are certain items in this product. I mean, it's a step, right? You know that you are potentially exposed to something. But for me, I'm like, we need more policies that would actually ensure transparency. Let's know all of the products all of the ingredients that make up a product that we're using. And one of the ways we can, I guess, work towards achieving that is, I would say, simply first starting conversations, because starting conversations with people, let's spread, people listening to this podcast, me talking to my family, me talking to my friends about these things, us sharing our personal experiences, then can spur people to collective action. Like, okay, let's take this thing to a policy level. How can we sign petitions?
Exactly. So that's the next question. Like, how can consumers play an active role in advocating for cleaner and safer cosmetics products?
The very first thing is to increase the awareness, because you can't fight what you don't know. I feel like Tosin correctly said, like educating individuals, like listening to this podcast and sharing stuff about potential health risks that are associated with certain chemicals can really empower them to make informed choices, right? And I believe like the advent of social media has really done a good job in talking about these things, right? And I think, again, I agree with what she said, like strengthening regulations. And I feel like in the whole of US, California is the most forward in these things, because I've never seen a state that has so much like laws. I remember when I came to LA, like I was buying something in Sephora, and like the kind of things they were like, I was like, whoa, this is insane. Like they are really, really like forward as a state. And I really commend that. And that goes down to policymakers, right? These guys need to like create policies that not only affect the companies, but also the consumers in their mind, right? In terms of like I don't know, personal resources or some. I don't really have any personal resources as an individual. I just do my due diligence. And I feel like if you know, you can fight for something right? If you don't know, then that's where the problem is.
To close off, what is your takeaway message to the audience about toxic beauty?
We should pause to consider what's causing a particular like skin reaction or skin issue that we have before rushing to find a solution, a product or products. Like the product that you want to use to cover that flaw may actually add to that issue. Instead, look for what could have caused that thing or that problem in the first place. Like for myself, I know when I'm stressed or when I'm dehydrated, I tend to have breakouts, and then I can relate it to, okay, I'm not sleeping well.
Well, for me, I feel like all in all, we need to look within ourselves and realize that we are our future and literally put in the work. It takes a lot of work, but we need to put in the work. And about toxic ingredients in general, I feel like we should actually take steps towards like making safer choices. And safer choices might be more expensive choices, but we know in the long run it's going to benefit us. We just need to make informed decisions and make informed choices. And I'm literally going to download that app right away.
Thank you, guys. So for me, I was just saying, looking good is good, right? It's good, but being healthy is better.
Very true.
Yeah, so thank you, ladies, for being here and sharing your nuggets. Like, this was a learning opportunity for me, and I'm sure like others watching it will learn a lot. And like we said, we're going to leave all of the relevant links to like documentaries we've watched. So both I and Tosin are going to leave it there, and also link to this app, like the name of the app and like the safe cosmetic everything. Just check the description box and you find it. And so if you're still here, thank you very much. Please like this episode, share with your friends and family, and if you're not yet subscribed, please do subscribe. I'll see you guys in our next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks so much for listening to the Sustainability Nuggets podcast. I am Rarisu Maribi.
And I am Tosin Colorenshaw. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave a rating and review on wherever you listen to your podcast.
You can also show your support by signing up for a small donation to help sustain future episodes. You can find all relevant links in the description. See you in our next episode.